This is episode 203 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel, not C-3PO anymore, Manzano.
It's the sacrifices I make for all of you and all of you.
Will Flashy Shirts Hagewood.
We're all sporting them today, I think. Real fancy.
And Ryan Flag Smasher Staniszewski.
Well, I've been thoroughly enjoying what people may have caught that reference for being the Winter is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I've been watching. I'm digging it.
I haven't seen the last one. I still need to see the last one, so don't.
Oh, not mentioning anything. I'm not here to spoil. I'm just here to say that I today am a flag smasher.
Alrighty, that we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Nothing mystery. All right. Well, today our podcast is brought to you by our GSP patrons. By the way, patrons, we have currently the A-Wing voting going on right now for Patreon. If you guys don't know what we're referring to, currently our upcoming Patreon wave that gets shipped in July is the GSP Alphabet Squadron. So we are electing a named pilot to our squadron. Last week, or not, a couple days ago, the voting ended for the X-Wing, and Garvin Dreas will be our X-Wing pilot who will be assigned to GSP's Alphabet Squadron on that card. Then we're currently doing the A-Wing votes. Right now, the last time I looked, it was a 1% race between Wedge and Sabine in the A-Wing. Not sure who it's going to be. We'll find out. Patrons, if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and do it. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Gold Squadron. Check them out. Again, the upcoming Gold Squadron the Gold Squadron Alphabet pilot series is the next one coming up. 5 different pilots becoming available. Super excited about that. And yeah, let's party. Let's party like a rock star. Well, actually, before we get to all that, we do want to have a bit of a serious moment. Let's bring it down for a minute. While I didn't know, you might know Billy Evans. There's a lot of people who were talking about it on Facebook. Unfortunately, I did not get the opportunity to know who he was, but let me explain what we're talking about here. So Billy Evans was a Capitol police officer who died in the line of duty. This was last week, I believe. All right. And if you didn't hear the news story, there was somebody who hit 2 officers with their car. And, our X-Wing community is pretty tight and, small world. Unfortunately, there was 2 officers hit. One died, and one of them was a X-Wing player out of the Nova Squadron region. So while I didn't know him personally, I know a lot of people have had positive interactions with him. And, I just want to go ahead and just as a sign of respect for somebody who's just part of our community, just go ahead and take a moment of silence. All right. So, I know that it's obviously his family. We wish them well. There's really, in reality, there's nothing that we can do. But it's important to remember the humanity in our community, right? We're all real people, and X-Wing players are everywhere, right? We're a pretty tight-knit community, and I wish their family well and healing over time, because obviously losing anybody in your family in a tragic way is terrible. But we're gonna jump into our first topic for today, and let's go ahead and do this. So, if you'll notice on the wall behind me that we have 1 row less of Squadron packs. That's because I finally opened mine, okay? We actually have given away a couple of these already. But yeah, we're going to be talking about how these Squadron packs may affect the upcoming extended meta. But before we do that, we need to pass it over to Marcel to talk a little bit about Team US of A.
Yay. So first of all, thank you for everyone who submitted. I don't know if you call it an application, just a volunteer. For all of you who volunteered and offered to participate, we had, I think, around 30 people or 30-something people ask. So I apologize if I have not sent out a message, but Dion is putting it up on the screen, the actual people that were selected. And we had to not give up. We had to not take some really amazing players in order to basically cut it down to 9. So I'm just going to go over the names real quick. So it is going to be myself as the team captain, and I will be, just to real quick make sure I got this, I will be flying the Resistance. That's not totally because A-Wings RZ2s aren't a thing. Then we also have Matt Carey. Going to be flying the Rebel Squad for the Team USA. We have Carson Ray, North American champion, flying the Republic. William Haywood bringing it in with the Scum. And then we have Daniel Leon, Epionic, with the Separatist list. I already said Matt Carey. We've got the champion, the reigning ace champion, Steve Cotillo, flying in the Empire. And, of course, we have Doug Howe with the First Order. And then we also have Tommy Adams and Kenneth Lyons kind of flying a little bit of everything. They're going to be coming in and as the subs, but as the playing subs. So we're going to actually be rotating in and out. So they will be playing a mixture of all the lists. Probably except Separatist, because Daniel seems to be the only person who actually likes playing Separatist. I think all other 8 people are like, nope, no Separatists here. So sorry, Daniel, you no weeks off for you.
That's right. Put in the work, son. You applied, you play.
So anyway, thank you for everyone who asked to be on the team. And if you didn't make it, I feel terrible, but I think I'm pretty happy with the team that we got. I feel good. I feel good about. I think the other countries should be a little nervous. Alrighty.
Well, we will get over to the screen right here. Oops, I gotta press a button. Yeah, Team USA. Congratulations. And I know, I remember the stress, Marcel, of putting a team together last year. How stressed, because there's a balance between who actually applies, right? Who actually applies, and then when you have people who apply, who do you put where and how to best utilize it? It's impossible.
I had a ton of heartburn, especially at the end when we were narrowing it down. I'll just say, I won't say who unless they want to say themselves, but we had to actually do a playoff. So Steve Cotillo and one other person had to actually play, and they played today at 5:00. Oh. And the winner got in, and Steve won that particular match to get into the team. But that just shows you how good everybody that applied was, that we had somebody like Steve who just won the Aces tournament on the bubble of maybe not making the cut if he didn't win his, maybe not making the team if he didn't win his game today, but he won to get in. And the person that did not make it in, that played against him, is equally just as good. So we had a lot of good players, and a lot of feels bad for me because I don't like turning anyone away.
I know you just won a championship, but I'm not sure you're getting it. That is.
But you still got to prove yourself,
right? Exactly.
Hey, that was hyperspace. This is extended. This
is true. We'll see. You got to put up. Let's see. No pressure, Steve. No pressure. Speaking of extended, you're so good at segues. You don't even know how good you are at segues. We're going to get into talking a little bit about the extended meta. I want to start because it's a relatively small section here. And some people might be wondering how can some of the new upgrades that came in these packs possibly affect the extended meta for Resistance, Republic, First Order, and Separatists, the ones that these boxes do not feature. And just to kind of focus you down, it only matters for 2 cards, and that is Protectorate Gleb and Sensitive Controls, and they both affect First Order. So there's that. That's of those 4 factions. We're really talking about the First Order. So we're gonna go ahead and start talking about that. Let's go ahead and talk about Protectorate Gleb. What does that card do, Ryan?
Well, that card is a crew card, as we talked about, available for First Order, but also Scum and Imperial. Gives you a red coordinate action, and after you coordinate a friendly ship, your physical card might not say friendly right now, but it was errata to friendly ship, you may transfer 1 orange or red token to the ship you coordinated. I don't see whatever potential combo there may be in First Order to even consider putting this in the list, because every single crew carrier I have already has coordinate. I mean, there are some niche things where, if I could, if the Xi shuttle coordinates, I could dump my stress onto whatever I coordinated because I know that ship's doing a blue maneuver type of thing. I don't know if that's worth 2 points though, and a whole crew slot. Like, it really, if I had the choice between Gleb and Proud Tradition on Commander Malrus or Gideon Hasks, I'll take Proud Tradition probably for 2 points. I'll see way more use out of that in most games than this. Again, unless I'm missing something that might be working that someone might figure out later. It's weird because Gleb canonically shows up more as an Empire or First Order character from the Battlefront 2 story mode, but ends up being the most useful probably in Scum for X-Wing.
Yep, exactly. My only kind of brain space for this is because the Upsilon has white coordinate, correct?
Correct.
But the Psi Shuttle has red coordinate.
Yep. So
the only reason you would pay the 2 points tax is if you want to be passing that stress off from the coordinate to another ship to take care of it, to keep your coordinator mobile. That's about the only place I can see it. Marcel or Will, you got any thoughts there? Anything you see?
In Empire or in general?
Well, right now we're just talking about First Order.
Oh, in the First Order?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something. Maybe, is there any that have 2 crew slots? No, that's not going to work either.
Well, they both do. Upsilon and Xi both have 2 crew.
Yeah, and the sides already have a red coordinate. So basically the only thing they, like you said, is just be able to toss that token away. Nobody really gains. It's not like Paylob where you get a benefit from being stressed. So
I would hold on. Well, I'm double checking. I got 2 things on my mind. The first one is Hux. Gleb and Hux together. You're mentioning that double cruise slot available to them. Now, Hux is a white action that you may treat as red, and then you can coordinate up to 3 ships of the same type. And for each of them, they would treat it as red as well. So you could keep it's the same thing of you could keep your coordinator mobile. I guess no, they don't have because it requires the white action.
Right.
This would be on the Upsilon then. Switch gears on that for a second. So Hux on the Upsilon could keep its dial open and still be coordinating things, but I think unless you have an orange token, someone ends up double stressed from that. But If it's just like a foe, or my next example would be if you have Muse in your list, you could coordinate to a ship near Muse, and then Muse could strip off the stress. Let me read Muse for you. At the start of the engagement phase, you may choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1. If you do, that ship removes 1 stress token. So I'm trying to, like, in my mind, I have like Major Stridan doing long range coordinates out to range 3. And then that's also where Muse is. He's flying around with those people. Maybe that's something. The only other thing I could think of is and to be fair, this is probably why or one of the reasons why it's friendly ship only, is that First Order does have access to Deridium power cells, where you can take the orange disarm token to recover a shield. Then you could essentially get rid of that disarm token by coordinating somebody in your list. That's a little bit much, I guess, because these are like you guys were kind of thinking around that, like, this is a power combo card on a,
Right.
but it's only usable on 2 ships that like already do the normal thing.
Exactly. So I think Gleb in First Order is going to be one of those that doesn't. We're not going to see it in First Order. I think it's probably like we're trying to pull at strings. You know, maybe the more maybe somebody might find some really cool kind of weird way to play it. Maybe in Epic it has a little bit more value. I know we don't focus too much on Epic, but maybe there's something there with with some of the Epic ships. Not entirely sure. But I think the conclusion is most likely we don't see Gleb in First Order yet. Now we're gonna talk about her in Scum and Empire here in a little bit, but watch out in the future if we get some FO that has that's cheap, has a crew slot, and doesn't have coordinate. There's a good chance we might see Gleb show up there.
You got it. I mean, they've got to build out that faction a little more. So you'll probably end up with some kind of like they don't. I don't think they have a bomber or anybody that's consistent. Do they even have anybody that drops bombs at all?
From the Resistance
Apparently, no.
TV show, yes.
No, I'm saying the First Order.
Oh yeah, there's nothing that carries payload in that entire faction right now.
Not
yeah,
yet.
So you could,
Otherwise, I'm pretty sure that people might be pulling a Wolfaru and dropping concussion bombs on Rush turn 1.
yeah, that would be bad.
And now I'm in Initiative 6. Hello.
But yeah, I imagine at some point they'll have something to carry ordnance and maybe not ordnance, carry payloads, and maybe carry this as well. So that's probably the only thing I could think of. Because at the moment, it doesn't make any sense.
All right. Yeah, maybe. I know that there was some, I'm pretty sure it was April Fool's shenanigans, but there was some people being like, oh, did you hear there was a leak here? The TIE Whisper, TIE FO pack. We didn't post anything about it because it didn't come from a confirmed source, no links or anything. But, I mean, could be cool. Could be cool. Maybe one day. Now, the only other card, and again, we are pulling at strings here, looking at basically nothing for Resistance, nothing for Republic, nothing for Separatists when it comes to this box. But the only other thing that does end up leaking into First Order potentially is sensitive controls. This is it. So sensitive controls. What does this do, Will?
All right, sensitive controls is a configuration that replaces your auto thrusters ability, also standardized as a note. Literally says replace your auto thrusters ship ability with the following. Sensitive controls. During the system phase, you may perform a red barrel roll or red boost action. So I've always equated it to ADAs because I think that was the first that we had in the game of system phase repositioning instead of post movement repositioning. Mm-hmm. And that means that all of the silencers can take it.
Yep.
Currently sits at 2 points.
Is there a silencer that wants this? What do you think, Marcel?
Well, I think you got two of them that want it. You want the Initiative 1 generics can use it, can benefit from it. I don't know if they want it. There's a benefit to him not being stressed after your repositions, especially if you want to move second for like shoot second, but you want to move first for the blocking potential so you can preemptively boost and block or something like that. And then after you get your Initiative 1 blocks, then go ahead and move behind them or do something like that. Or if you just want to, if there's a reason why you don't want to be stressed at the end, Discipline is probably in the Empire one. But then also Blackout, he wants to park behind the rock. I think that's the most obvious one. He wants to park behind the rock somewhere extended. You get access to Trick Shot, so just park him with Trick Shot. This and just before you move the next turn, you reposition early, and then you find another rock to park in front of. So this would be like they don't have access to system phase, do they? System slot. So since no sensors or anything like that, just put this on there. It'll work.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting to see who actually ends up trying it out. I think the Sinar Jameis Engineer, which is the first one we were talking about, probably has the biggest potential to see it. I mean, it has great mobility. You can see that the dial right there that we have up on the screen. Plenty of blue maneuvers. Could be really fantastic. But
I am going to say this. Going to the Sinar, is that I've flown it quite a bit, maybe 10 games total on Nash, which, it's a different ship, similar dial, different ship, that it moves first, and the moving before, like being the first ship that moved, like the lowest initiative ship in most games that I've played with Nash, just having that ability to reposition first and then move, you really don't lose any flexibility out of it. I thought that you would lose something by moving, then repositioning after, but you really don't. You really don't lose anything by it. Especially because most of the time you're just doing like the two hards or straights, so it works out pretty well. So I wouldn't. It's not bad. I enjoy it. I actually have more fun moving first. Like it makes it feel like I have advanced sensors. And then can still action afterwards. So it's more fun, even if like the end result is the same.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, we'll end up seeing who is actually willing to take it in competitive play. As you guys know, starting in May 1st, we have Moncala, the first of the Galactic Championship qualifiers. It's their extended events. We'll see who tries it out. Now, of course, we do have to mention the fact that sensitive controls is standardized. What does that mean? Well, that means if you put it on a single silencer, any silencers in the list are going to have to be standardized as well. They're going to have to be sensitive controls. So you can't take like Kylo and two, Sinar Jameis engineers, and only two of them be sensitive control, and Kylo doesn't have it. No, friend. You got to have it on both. So just be weary of that. I want to see who's willing to try it. Cody Wood, where you at? I want to see you. I want to see you play it. What's up, Brian?
We did miss something. Duh, they forgot. Remember, we got that Y-Wing card. That can go on Republic Y-Wings. The belly run.
Oh, the belly rub. Let's bring up the rub.
The Tierfon or Tefron? I don't know. It's something belly run.
Belly.
Thanks for Shadow Cody for reminding us there. It's a card that's very easily forgettable in the Scum pack, and I think it's also actually in the Rebel pack too, because Rebels can have Y-Wings as well.
So that means Resistance has it too, then.
They don't have a Y-Wing.
It doesn't have Y-Wings yet. I mean, we're assuming they will in the future. But the Tierfon Belly Run is a Y-Wing only talent who can perform special attacks even while at range 0 of asteroids. While you defend, if you are at range 0 of an obstacle, attack dice cannot be re-rolled. So broadside likes doing a lot of special attacks. Doesn't mean you ignore the obstacle for the purposes of your actions, though, or for when you take damage, if you roll damage on it. So you probably need to get coordinated to get your action if you really want it, or you can be matchstick and you can bring debris clouds. I got a red token. I get rerolls.
Yeah, this card sounds bad.
Right now, what is it? I think it's like 1 or 2 points.
It's two right now. Yeah, right there on the screen. Yeah.
I mean, you can shoot on obstacles, so fair enough.
Yep.
That does have value.
That does have value.
Yeah. So I mean, you can still shoot on asteroids. So now you can shoot on any obstacle, basically, but you still can't. It's only special attacks, so you can't do your primary. So you have to count on a torpedo or a turret, and then you're probably unmodified because you've landed on an asteroid. If you're not unmodified, you've either coordinated or dumped more points into a Y-wing. Doesn't feel that great because you got Jedi in your list, or you should have Jedi in your list, and those are the ones that actually want more stuff or points invested into making them better. The fact that the second wording is kind of okay, like attack dice cannot be re-rolled against the Y-wings. It's kind of a lock-heavy meta right now between tracers, FTC. People want to take locks to jam you and all those kind of things. So second sense is neat. Everything else to get to that situation is very not really.
Is there actually that does remind me? There is isn't there a droid that lets you ignore obstacles?
Q7? Q7.
Oh, Q.
It's not that you ignore it; you roll onto it. While you barrel roll or boost, you can move through and overlap obstacles. So you could, in theory, take your matchstick and come up and just roll onto a debris, YOLO it, for some defensive protection.
Man, just to get Q7 on matchstick and belly run, you're at a 48-point Y-wing with no turret or torpedo yet.
What veteran turrets 53? Oof.
Here we go. You can use R5X3.
It's resistance only, though.
Yeah, resistance. But you're right. Never mind. Listen, we're trying. You know, we get accused sometimes of being so like, oh, you guys are so meta hungry and top tier. Like, we're trying to find the weird stuff. We can't find it. I'm sorry. Resistance, Y-wing win. Truth. Yeah, they're not yet. Okay.
Give us story.
Yeah, I think the problem with the belly run is that the cards that would benefit from it, like Trick Shot or even Hopeful, to get that modifier, they can't be equipped at the same time as belly run. Because Trick Shot, now we're talking. Like, I get extra dice. That's the modifier we were mentioning that this card seems to be lacking. There is I'm trying to think of torpedoes to use in this card instead of the standard turret. There is targeting synchronizer now in Scum, so you could still give them locks to shoot some torpedoes.
We know Republic has synchronized Council and Wolfpack.
True that.
Both things that exist in.
True that. But to keep us focused on the discussion right now, we're only talking about the people who didn't get packs. So not Rebels, Empire, or Scum yet. We'll get to that in a second. But I think out of the four factions that weren't covered in these packs, the only thing that might see an impact is maybe sensitive controls. That's it. And that's only for First Order. The rest don't come to the party. You're not invited.
I think maybe one of the only other ships you can put the belly run on is R2-D2 and the Y-Wing, because there's a lot of crew, like Force crew or Fives or Wolfpack, that can get you modifications even though you landed on one. R2-D2's own ability. So,
maybe. Sounds expensive.
I mean,
Sounds
If you're
pricey.
running R2D2 with A-list secure crew and you're here to support your friends, you want to make it probably as difficult as possible to kill R2D2 if that means landing on asteroids so they can't reroll dice, maybe? I don't know. Definitely not something you start with. You
Yeah.
never normally probably add that talent. Most likely there are many other talents, 2 points or less, or 1 or 2 points more that you can make room for if you really wanted it.
Oh, okay. Joan, our producer and operations coordinator Jonah Piscani in the chat says instinctive aim torpedo Anakin. Maybe. I mean, nobody has seen in the Y-Wing. Anakin in the Y-Wing has not been seen ever. But you know what? If you want to make people sad, like that sounds like an awesome casual play. Go for it.
But he doesn't have a talent slot. You can't.
Oh,
equip him
wrecked.
anyway.
Doesn't have a talent slot. Wrecked. Is it? Oh,
And
snap.
Or slot. Anakin's not talented in a Y-Wing, apparently. He's talented in the N1. He's talented in the A-2. He ain't talented in a Y-Wing or a Delta 7.
Turns out nobody is.
Oh, you
Oh, the
rely on
shade.
those fine-tune controls too much. That's their talent.
Awesome. All right. So that closes that out. Now we're going to get into some meat and potatoes. All right. Some meat and potatoes. Let's start talking about the extended meta when it comes to the Empire. All right, the Empire. Obviously, there's a bunch of things that have become that have become illegal now that we're moving into extended. Since we're going into the Galactic Championship Series, we're coming from hyperspace. So let's talk about just kind of in general, what were some ships that people were not able to fly before that are now on the table? Let's just talk about ships first. Alpha class Star Wings are legal. Named TIE V1s, named TIE X1s. Generic Reapers, TIE Aggressors are legal. TIE Punishers, generic TIE Fighters, TIE Phantoms, the named Brutes, the named Strikers, the named Decimators, and Lambdas as well. When it comes to the packs, the ones that were in there, we got the named Defenders and the generic Interceptors are now legal as well. We also, of course, have the some of the TIE Bombers are legal now as well. So let's focus on the packs first. Let's talk about the big boy. We got to hit it first. He's right here on the top of my deck, okay? The top of the cards. Lord Vader in the Defender. Let's talk about him. Will, you'll have the floor first. Thoughts on him in the extended meta. What do you predict?
Get him up on the screen though too. So
Yeah, he's coming.
oh, he's coming.
No, he's coming.
All right.
Oh,
So
no, you're coming.
for anybody who's been under a rock since this card was spoiled or leaked or whatever, got on the internet. Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith here, flying the Defender. You cannot spend force except while attacking. While you perform an attack, you may spend one force to change a blank result to a hit result. And of course, as standard Defender, has full throttle, fully execute, speed 3 to 5, may perform an evade action. So obviously the great offense with the ship lacks access to juke and other talents, plus the sensor slot was ripped off of them to avoid advanced sensor shenanigans. And probably fire control system as well. This thing would be pretty good with fire control system. But personally, I haven't seen a lot of success with Darth Vader. Maybe there's some magic well, I guess they always play him extended, but there's some magic crewmates for him that could work with it. But at the time, I haven't seen anything that could pop. I think when we see Darth Vader, I think we're gonna see him in like a 2-ship build. Someone who's used to flying like TIE Advanced, Darth Vader, and like Echo, or not Echo, Whisper. I think he's pretty much limited to that 2-ship build. And we have seen success with those. So I think I'm on the fence that Vader will be attempted a lot, but someone will find success with them eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right there. There's going to be a lot of people trying to find the secret sauce. Because the reality is, while people are trying and experimenting with a lot of things right now, we really don't know how it's going to come out in the wash. Now, here's my question for you, Ryan. Is a lot of people are reaching for hate because of his ability, says that you can't spend the Force except while attacking. So essentially most of the Force upgrades are useless. My question is, like, for me, I'm looking at him and say, like, hate seems good, but how about just naked and use the points?
Yeah, I'd probably spend if I was getting any upgrade, which there's not a bunch available force-wise on him. Even though half of the card isn't usable by Vader, the other half's still solid to help his other buddies. Sense.
Ooh.
0 to 1. Give, like, so I think some of the variations we've seen, Vader in 2 V1s, whether they're Inquisitors, whether they're the Seventh Sister or Fifth Brother, whatever combination you do, like, if you have points left and you just want to say, I want to get my ships to see if I can cause them to block my opponent's blockers. Now, granted, the Inquisitors are I3, so you only be blocking stuff that went after in 3s and above. So the 1s and 2s couldn't do the blocking. But as we're seeing right now, because of the TIE V1s and Prockets and Tracers and Inquisitors with Foresight and Jedi Knights, all these other ships at I3, we haven't seen a lot of I2 and I1 anyway. So you could put Sense on Vader and have a couple Inquisitors. You could, and you have 8 points left. You could put, like, this seems solid right here. You don't even need Sense. It's probably overkill, but hey, board knowledge is pretty good. And it's free at range 0 to 1 of Vader. You don't have to. You don't spend the Force because you can't. First of all, but like, I think Vader and 2 Inquisitors with Foresight, 5 points left. You can either take bid or you can take Sense. I don't really see a reason to take hate in that, because I either would want more of the bid, or I would just say I'll take Sense. I won't have a bid. I don't care. Good. Like, if you have an I6 in your list moving after Vader, there's probably not much left in your list anyway. To do enough firepower to hurt Vader that bad. And if I have Sense, then I'm just going to get my Inquisitors to block your 6 anyway, if I'm in that situation. It's probably easier just to take the bid and say I'm moving after you anyway and go from there. But I think Vader in 2 TIE V1s in general is a solid play right now too.
All right, now I'm going to pass this to Marcel. Marcel, my question here to you is, now, we talked about what we might see on him. We talked about why he's good. My question is, when it comes out in the wash, where do you think he's going to end up? Is Vader in the Galactic Championship, finals? Are we seeing him go that far? Or is he just kind of like a Swiss gatekeeper or something?
Neither. I don't think he'll be a gatekeeper at all. I don't think he'll be a finalist. I think he'll win some tournaments. I don't know, maybe it was Ryan or somebody else posted, like, how many will they win tournaments. I think he'll win a couple tournaments just by enough people wanting to play him and make him good, and then getting the right matchups. And just at the end of the day, you're walking around with 115 points that are very hard to kill. and that puts out consistent damage. So it's a good ship. It'll run into a matchup, especially in extended. It'll run into a bunch of M3As. It'll run into a bunch of any swarm. Will just eat it up. I mean, it still only has 2 tokens, so it's not. It's not. It still only has 2 tokens. It has no way to avoid blocks. Defenders are very predictable. So while it can be a menace and win you a lot of games just by itself, it's not. It's going to run into some matchups that are just that are just going to eat it up, especially lists that are 4 or 5 plus. Like I'm seeing all of the like the list that William likes to fly, like all the initiative 4s just throwing double modded shots.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get, as much as he wants to, he's eventually going to be in that situation. And if you've got that coming your way, you're going to lose 3-4 shields in a bad round of fire. And then once you're shieldless, you're kind of playing to not lose those points. I like the idea of flying it with the V1s, but even like a couple V1s. The reason the V1s are so good is because you fly them in numbers. If you fly 5 or 6 of them, 1 or 2 of them is just you can shrug them off, and when you fly those 5 or 6 ship V1 lists, once you lose a couple of them, it's like they just fall apart because they're not that good. Well, they're always that good. They're very good value, but they don't put
They're
out
better
any
in
damage.
numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't put out damage, and they're like A-wings without heroic or advanced optics. It's just plucking away at 1 damage at a time, maybe 2. And when you're only shooting with 1 big ship, I just don't think that it'll win some stuff because people will try and it'll get the matchups, but I wouldn't even call it a gatekeeper. I think the better players, or the players that put more time into it, I'm not going to say better players, the players that put more time and thought into what to bring to a tournament to win the tournament will spend 1 or 2 games or 1 or 2 days toying around with the Darth Vader list on Yasby and say, nah, give me my X1 Vader and more toys and an extra 50 points to play with.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, X1 Vader does hit very hard. It's just a different chassis. Now here, I'm going to throw out the question to the community, the people watching at home, and if you're watching on YouTube right now, I'd like your answer in the comments down below, and our Twitch viewers, give it to us in the chat. Ryan, Marcel, and Will. We have 8 qualifiers. Let's not worry about the actual championship, but we have 8 qualifiers for Galaxies. How many Vader appearances will we see
6.
on the? Let me finish.
No, but you're saying we have 8 qualifiers. We have 2 of them are hyperspace, right?
He
Right.
probably has a qualifying last part of his statement.
Right.
Nah. He's throwing that in because I mentioned it.
So we got 6 that are extended. How many final tables do you think will make it out of 6? Out of 6. How many final tables? Will says 0. Marcel, 0.
Final tables. I mean, that's hard for anything to get there, right? So,
It's true.
I'd probably say, I'm gonna say 1, just because I want to go against you guys. I want to say I'm right.
Price of right us.
So my head says probably 0 is the mathematically right thing to say, just
Right.
because amount of people, amount of games, the difficulty to get there. But you know what? 1.
There you go.
Prove me right, people.
Might as well say 1 Tel Traver is going to make it. I mean, it's got as much
Yeah,
opportunity.
it's the odds part, right? You're counting on people. You're calling out a very specific ship.
Yep. I
So,
mean, well,
but you know what? I'm just going to say 1, and I'm going to play Price is Right.
yeah, and I mean, I have to call out Vader just because there's so much talk about him, right? So We got to talk about it. Well, let's stay on the Defender, but let's bounce this to a couple of the other pilots here, because we did get 2 other new named pilots in this pack. We got Volt Scaris and Captain Dobbs. So Volt Scaris first has the same ability in the Defender as he does in the Interceptor, and that is, as an action, gain 1 strain token to recover 1 charge, and then before you engage, you may spend 1 charge to perform an action. Okay, so I mean, thoughts on this one? I mean, he's 82 points. All right, 82 points as opposed to Vader, who was 115. Now we're at Initiative 5, but we have other Initiative 5 defenders as well. Are we going to see Volt Scaris played often? What do you guys think? Will, you got a strong head shake there.
And it's nothing against Volt Scaris's like initiative or even how you would rate his ability. It's simply the price of the chassis that he has to be in. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be in this one, but the Defender price of 82. Now we have seen Rexler Brass. He's I5, 78 points, so about the same ish. And we rarely see Rexler Brass in extended. Maybe some like 2-ship builds he can be thrown in with advanced sensors and some other shenanigans onto there. But it's like one very specific archetype, and that archetype, I wouldn't say it hasn't been doing well, but people are choosing not to fly it. And the ones that I do see that are like X1 Vader, and then a Defender normally have Riot, because you get so much dial control. It feels more maneuverable when you're flying Riot. And I just don't think that Volt is going to have that same effect. Now, I guess his ability does work with. Let me read his ability here. It says action, gain 1 strain to recover 1 charge. He has a decreasing charge, and then you can spend that charge to perform an action. So, with advanced sensors, you can't do it during your activation. So you can advance sensors, the action, the Volt action, bump into something, because that's what your goal was. And you cleared your strain because you did it beforehand. And then when you shoot at 5, you can perform an action then, maybe barrel roll off of that ship, take a target lock on the ship behind him. I guess, I don't know. None of that sounds efficient, and that's what if you're 92 points you need to be is. So I would put him just in the same realm as Rexler Brass as far as rarity. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't. You were saying, like you said, we were not seeing a bunch of defenders played in extended anyway beforehand. Some people, kind of toyed around it once in a while, but I think the most common defender that we saw was the Delta Squadron pilot. Like the Initiative one was the most common one, and even with that being legal in hyperspace, the Delta Squadron pilots, I think they showed up one time in the whole series. I think it was once.
Well, essentially there's the archetype of 2 defenders and an interceptor. It used to be Deltas, the I-1s, with Soontir Fel.
Right.
But then Soontir Fel left hyperspace, so then it's just a Saber and some Onyx squadrons. But then now Soontir is back. So it's going back down to Soontir and Defenders again, or the Deltas rather. I think that's the overarching problem with Defenders, is that it's such an investment. Even the Deltas, 68 points for 1 3-dice single-minded attack. I mean, we can talk about their time on target and their defensive capabilities, but it's hard to get that return on investment with Defenders.
I just want to play once. It's not good. It's bad.
Okay.
But the two I5s, Volt and Rexler, with Daredevil and advanced sensors, and just play a game where I probably don't kill anything, but I don't get hurt in 75 minutes is just, with Daredevil, you can Daredevil and then still do your 4. And yeah, you gave up something, but you're not getting shot. Reminds me of what's his name? Rick. Rick with advanced sensors, like he's got 3 agility and advanced sensors, only 3 hull and 2 shields, but he was almost always impossible to kill. Mm-hmm. And if you fly him with advanced sensors and Daredevil, Rick almost never dies. So I think with advanced sensors and Daredevil on the 2 I5 defenders, you're probably doing the same thing, because you get the 3 agility, the free defense, and if you're going to end up somewhere bad, you can just heart turn somewhere away and be somewhere completely different than what they thought you would be.
Just take a little break, right?
Yeah.
Just take a little break. Yeah, no problem. Okay. So now, what about our boy Captain Dobbs? Ryan, you got any feelings on Captain Dobbs? What does he do?
So as an I3 defender, while another friendly ship at range 0 to 1 defends before the neutralize result step, if you are in the attack arc and are not ionized, you may gain 1 ion to cancel 1 hit result. So this ability is really good, actually. I will gladly take an ion if it means my Soontir or something doesn't take an extra damage, right? There's a lot of very powerful aces in the Imperial faction. The problem is you're paying for the chassis.
Yeah.
Because you're paying for the chassis to take the damage, which has the health for it, mind you. To get ioned, you need to put it in a list where you're okay with tethering something next to it, but then also you need to have the rest of your list be able to make up for the likely points you're going to lose out on by Captain Dobbs dying. He's still a defender.
He doesn't take the damage.
Which is an even better situation than Biggs in that case. So taking on myself to negate an entire damage is pretty good. You just need to make sure you make up the points of Dobbs probably getting focused on, and likely dying, because once he's ioned, it's, pseudo game over for him, at least half of his cost. It might be worth it. You never know. But it's still a defender. It's an I3 defender, so it could still get blocked by I2s, 1s, and 3s that move before it. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not... There's a lot of people dumpstering this ship. Mm-hmm. I'm still extremely wary of that ability coming into play and allowing something to last even longer without the damage transferring like a Biggs. It's just straight canceled.
Yeah,
there's no way to get that ion, right?
No, because defenders don't have modification slots in which you could normally take something like static discharge veins.
Exactly. Yeah, but if you have enough stuff in your squad or something else that's threatening, the ion might not be a big deal. Maybe. Maybe. It's the only way for a defender to go 1 forward. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and that's kind of where my squad building would lead me to. You want to be able to protect something that could also just 1 forward or fly slow or whatever, and that brings me to like X1s and bombers. I don't know anything else. I guess Alpha class Star Wings. That's basically a bomber to me. That's a fancy bomber. That's a bomber with a slam. So maybe like some passive sensors Tempest or something like that. That could who wouldn't mind the defensive bonus. That's what I got. My bombers and my alpha class squadrons did not work out in the list building. They look real bad because you can only fit like 3 things with them.
Yeah, because I mean it goes back to what Ryan was saying, right? You have to pay for the Defender chassis. Yeah. Okay, now here, Will, I want to stick with you. Before we bounce off of Defenders, we got to talk about the Defender Elite. Are we
all right.
like the Defender Elite 2 points? What does it do? And tell me your thoughts on it. Are we going to be seeing it in the extended meta, or at least right away? Do you see any combos out there?
Well, let's read the card first, so then everyone can make their own opinions. That's probably. Anyways, this is a configuration standardized for the TIE Defender only. Yeah, pulled up. I love that art. Beautiful. Anyways, it decreases the difficulty of your turn maneuvers. You can see on the dial there. That would be because the hard 1s and 2s are red, so they become white, and then you actually can clear with a hard 3 on turn, which is useful, I guess. Anyways, increase the difficulty turn of your K-turn maneuvers. They have a 4K, which is white. I don't know if you heard about Defenders having a white 4K, but now it's red. I don't know. Somebody's keeping up on the day-to-day rules. Did they ever figure out if that works with Ryad changing the dial, or if it's just your printed K-turn values? Anyways, I'm getting distracted. I haven't even finished the card yet. Decrease your turn maneuvers. Increase your K-turn maneuvers, and replace your full throttle, your free evade, with the following. Advanced fire control. After you perform a cannon or missile attack, if you have a lock on the defender, you may perform a bonus primary attack against the defender. So have a lock. After you shoot a cannon or missile, you can get a bonus primary attack. It is nice that unlike the B-Wing configuration, you don't actually have to spend this lock to get the bonus attack. This also comes on a ship that can take fire control system, so you can actually utilize that target lock on the cannon or missile attack. Obviously, they have the cannon and missile slots. So the pack comes with auto blasters and tractor beam, so that's a pretty good suggestion of what might be the best 2 places for that. There's a lot of hard asks to this card, and it's the white K-turn, which is one of the best features of the Defender, and the free evade, which is arguably the other good factor of having a Defender. Mm-hmm. And I think in my opinion, we're going to rarely see this. This is like a very specialized card. The fact that it's standardized is super funny to me because you can't run 2 of them, or you can't run one without. I don't know. You're not going to run 2 defenders if one's elite, anyways.
Right.
But I do think that the people who can use it the most are going to be Rex Lebrath, because he can use his ability if he's juking as well to really sneak some damage through, flipping cards, things like that. Colonel Vesser gets freed locks, so that it's easier for him to get that modification while still taking like an evade, a boost, focus, whatever he needs to do to get that double attack. He can still get the target locks to do it. And then, of course, Darth Vader, whose offense is unstoppable, and he might actually drain through your force if you're shooting twice per round. Mm-hmm. But all of those are like over 80-point ships. Obviously, they're in the Defender with the title and a cannon. and you're putting like no defensive bonuses on these things. So I just don't. It just doesn't make sense to me. Let's take a very expensive. Oh, can't you give your target lock in? What do you mean you get? Oh yeah, because you don't get the coordinate fire control system. I guess Empire could do it. They got Jendon. Get your locks out early. I don't know. As far as are we going to see it competitively? I doubt it. Unless there's some crazy Vessery build that we're unaware of. I do not see this thing coming up. I think it could be fun though. Shooting twice is fun.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is the first card that after 1 or 2 points updates will be the first negative point card.
Ooh.
This, not only a couple, I'm talking about
negative.
This could genuinely be a negative 10 point. Or -5, -10. Like it can be, because it takes your it takes your 75 point, whatever. What is that, Captain Dobbs, and it makes him 65. It's still expensive. If you're looking at, it's still comparable to like an E-wing at that point, without the K-turns, but the E-wings also get the target locks from. And the E-wings are at 50-something points. That's still like 15 points less than this thing. You're not getting the free evades. Your K-turns are red, so you're not doing that shenanigan anymore. You're basically an E-wing with 1 extra die, and if you target lock instead of focus, which makes you more likely to get hurt, you shoot twice. So I would go as far as -10 on it.
-10?
I mean, that's a bit extreme.
That is aggressive.
That is not extreme. Think about, like I said, think about the E-wings. E-wings don't have, they only have 1 shield less, but they get the target lock early on. They don't they're only like what, 52 points, 50 something like that. They're pretty cheap.
Wings are at base a Nave Squadron. I2 is 49 points.
Yeah, 49.
That's with the experimental scanners, obviously, which the Defender wouldn't have. Defender Elite would replace its ability for those advanced fire control. You have to invest points into to really get anything out of. You're just kind of giving yourself a better turning dial, but not a better turning around dial.
They're comparable. They're like throw a shield upgrade on an E-wing, and I would say it's comparable. And a shield upgrade is what, 8 points, 9 points. That brings it up to like 60 at the most. No, 59.
This way, I
57.
don't have immediate concerns if 3 defenders could fit in a list if they all had this title.
Okay.
I don't know about 10, but because they don't have full throttle, they
don't have full throttle and they don't have white Ks.
Yeah, like you can already right now just fit 3 E-wings at I2 with proton torpedoes. They're each 61 points, so 17 points to spare. I think I would find those much more dangerous than this Defender.
Okay.
If I had to face 3 of those. Don't yet know what the cannons missiles they have, but they would need to get the lock first of all, which means they might be investing in passive sensors. It probably doesn't feel great. I mean,
there is one upgrade card we haven't mentioned that I do think synergizes quite a bit with it, and it's the Thread Tracer missile. So you can take a focus, shoot the Thread Tracer, then if it hits, you can follow up with a primary attack. I was doing a little bit of quick build in here, and you can fit the Delta with the Elite Thread Tracers, Auto Blasters, and then your choice of 4 Interceptors or 4 Strikers. So you can give them locks, you could double shoot. You're bringing such fragile ships that convincing your opponent that it'd be easier to kill that one alpha than it would be to kill the delta who's double shooting. Mm-hmm. I guess. I mean, I didn't realize that you could get some 3-attack type ships in there, but because like I said, I was thinking about it as like Vesser and Vader and all these crazy expensive ones.
Right.
But maybe there's something to the humble delta taken in with tracers.
Yeah, I mean, negative 10, Marcel, sounds a little crazy to me. A little crazy because you're completely changing the design space of the defender by doing that. But
No, they're changing the design space of the defender by putting this card out there. They're making they're making everything that makes the defender good and making it bad.
I mean, would it
Like they're
would it
taking
have
away
to
the free
be-
evade and the 4K.
It wouldn't have to be
that's-
negative cost if they just said you could get one of those for free, right? It could just be a rata that you get a free cannon or a free missile or something, right? Because you're gonna have to pay for it anyways.
Well,
to get
yeah, I mean
to
that way. I mean, if they give you a free ion cannon, for example, that's like the equivalent of -5 or -6 or whatever the cannon is worth.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with negative point costs on cards. I'd be okay with 0. I'd be okay with 0, but I don't know if I'm okay because that opens up a Pandora's box of negative cards again. But maybe.
It's up to AMG if they want to open it.
Oh, AMG, keep the box closed. Don't do it.
Hey, what are they gonna do? I mean, if they lower it one, they control the points. It's not like they're not opening any Pandora's box. They're in control of the points. They could be like lower it, like, oh, we lowered it too much, raise it, or make the adjustments.
It would have to be -2 to get the 3 defenders in one list. At that point, you're not taking.
Yeah, but then
evades.
you're taking your free jam because you don't get
cool.
like a good
Take-
cannon or something. Yeah.
Good. Take locks and have no tokens and BI1. Fantastic. Like, well, okay,
Welcome
Whatever.
to town.
right?
All right. Well, we will have to wait and see. That's the defenders. Now let's move on to the interceptors, the home of the one and only. The Master Soontir fell. Soontir did make an appearance at the Ace Championships because he became hyperspace legal suddenly, but today's not his day. Let's talk about the other I6, the one that's a lot of people poo-pooing right now. That's Sienna Rhee. Sienna Rhee. Get her up on the screen real quick. Where's my? I'm bad at typing. What? I'm having a problem here. Brain. It's an E. There we go. Look through my eyes. So Sienna Rhee, are we going to see her as part of that the 666 squad? People have been saying Soontir, Sienna, and Vader. Yay, nay? Does it sound good to you?
I'm building it right now.
It's not bad.
Just basically
it's-
saying, what does this look like?
So you get all the tricks on Vader. You get Predators, and then I think you have your choice of what kind of modifications and / bid you're bringing. Same battle.
So, yeah,
You get all the things you need.
you got a lot of stuff available. So I was just like Imperial 666, Vader with fire control afterburners, Soontir with crack shot targeting computer and shield upgrade, and Sienna Rhee, you can do Predator, you can do Discipline. I mean, if your other ships die, it's not great. So I think I roll Predator with Sienna. And you've got a 7-point bid. Like, you still have room for stuff, but you don't need to put anything else on there. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a more aggressive Soontir with crack shot targeting computer, but I like that combination if I already have shield upgrade on there.
Okay.
And then Sienna's just, I'm 50 points. I6, Predator, neat.
All right. Well, I mean, I agree. I know there's not really too much to talk about there. I still think she's good. She's an initiative 6, and we'll see. I think it's going to come down to the stress management. We have experimented a little bit on stream. We had a couple people try it out. I know Kenneth Lyon was messing around with it, and it showed some promise. It showed some promise. If you pick the right moments to double stress and use auto thrusters, and other moments to not do it, it can be quite good. But I want to make a bit of a shift here, and I want to jump to a ship that we have been loving here, because we saw it be extremely successful recently, and that's Commandant Gorin. Commandant Gorin, this interceptor right here, after a friendly ship at range 0 to 3 with a lower initiative than yours partially executes a maneuver, it may perform a red action. We saw at the Aces Galactic Championship Steve Cotillo with this interceptor take down the Ace Championships with 4 strikers. Absolutely amazing. Now, here's my question. That was all hyperspace legal. I want to shift this. We talked about that last week, why this is good. My question is, are there any things in extended that we could also put in here, whether that be named strikers or other ships that are now legal to be played, that could combo well with this interceptor? Is there anything out there that you see right off the bat that makes you go, huh?
Well, I have one. Well, because it's comboing off of the idea of strikers perform 2 maneuvers per round. The Star Wings can also perform 2 maneuvers around with their slam action. You don't normally advanced slam means you need to fully execute the maneuver when you slam to get a free red action. Well, you won't need advanced slam if you're just literally slamming into each other or into the enemy, rather. So it could be a cheeky way to get a free advanced slam.
That is cheeky.
But
There you
is it
go.
really free?
Oh no, it's not
You're
free.
paying, for an interceptor.
I did air quotes for the audio listeners.
Well, I mean,
no.
you still get a 3 attack dice ship with it still. Now, one of the things Steve was talking about, he hit us up on Discord. He was talking about it as a response. We were wondering what would be the next evolution of this list. I know we're kind of hitting on that, and we had suggested maybe like, would Nash Windrider take the place, and Steve was saying that the formation of the 4 strikers is really what makes it work. If you take out a striker, you lose the shenanigans. Like you can't do it as efficiently. So yeah, I mean, we'll end up seeing. I wanted to ask because I don't know. There's nothing that really comes to mind that is going to be like, oh, this is going to break with it. What about, okay, hear me out. We have not seen TIE Swarms be good in a long time. One of the weaknesses of TIE Swarms is the bump fest that you can end up doing to yourself as well. Right? When you're trying to block things. Could maybe like a mini swarm and Commandant Goran be a thing? Maybe?
No. You know
I'm just hoping for those Imperial loyalists, man.
No, you know what's worse than having all your tires bump? Having all your tires be stressed.
They can't win, man. They can't win. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, little TIE fighters.
I think here's potentially the other question. Is so it might sound rhetorical, but how important were the thermal detonators in that list? Because we know close to equal points you have the interceptors themselves, the generics that are not available in hyperspace, they are available in extended. So you could go max interceptors, Goron, Nash, and 3 sabers, all have disciplined, 7-point bid, or do whatever you want with it. you don't have the bumping shenanigans, but when you're I4, you could end up getting blocked, but Goran could trigger. You could, so Goran, it's like the striker is like forcing that trigger. But I may have mentioned in prior episodes that Goran can also help just baseline help you in the mid game. Like, I have to do this maneuver. I either want to self bump or I want to mitigate the bumping that's going to happen. So they see the blue maneuver coming. They're probably going to block it, but it puts me in the best spot I can be. I'm still going to get a focus. Goran. Like, or are the strikers still that much more valuable for not only their pre-reposition maneuvers, technically, because of their ailerons that can actually be used to out-dodge other I3s that are common right now, but also help force trigger Goran and be able to equip the thermal detonators, which we know in mass have vaulted commonly expected low-tier ships, V-Wings, Strikers, etc., just launched them upward and said, you're denying so much area on the board, or saying here's so many bombs. As long as something can bring them, it's a high value.
Gorn is another way also to keep your Vader alive, because one of the things that your 115-point Vader hates is getting blocked and having no defensive mods. So it's a good way to guarantee your Vader has. So you can get, and it's initiative 4, it's a defender. Oh, because it's got to be lower.
Goran requires initiative. Wait, does it have to be lower? It should be same.
No, it has to be
lower.
So it can't be those. So it can't,
I thought it might have counted the same. So sabers won't even work.
All right, so no Vader there.
Wrecked.
We're trying, people. We're trying. Okay.
The one I got is the Humble Lambda. That thing doesn't have access to Dauntless, like Decimators.
Like the Decimators, yeah.
Yeah, which is literally the same ability, but you get to choose your action. So maybe some OGPs. I mean, Colonel Jendon is initiative 3. And if he's out there just getting stuck in some bumps, at least he can modify his dice. I mean, at that point, we could be looking at like one of those elite defenders out there. Have you already brought Colonel Jendon? I guess.
We got target lock. Set them up. It's cool.
You know who's likely to bump? Dobbs. Get Ion.
Oh, hey, you right.
To self-block him?
Yeah, maybe. Or I was just like, hey, I wonder if this fits. Let's just have a little bit of fun, casual night. Goran and 4 Scarif base Reapers.
I like that. I like that.
They got ailerons too, and they're medium. They're way easier to bump.
There you go. Yeah, that could be it. I mean, we are in extended, and they're cheap. They're only 39 points.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Just
aileron Reapers.
Yeah, just crash into each other. Just move towards the middle of the board and crash into each other and see what happens. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, I like it. I like that a lot. I think.
Yeah, wouldn't it be neat if you just like aileron, bump, take red focus, move. I'm in range 1, jam, or evade.
Well, so now, actually, I really like this line of thinking. Big shout out to ISOFane, by the way. Put those ISOs in the chat. This is from Wookie Shepherd. So the Goran combination with a sensitive controls on the TIE interceptors. Oh, but you know what, Wookie Shepherd, though? You're still stuck at the Alphas.
Yep.
And Nash as the only targets. Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, that wouldn't be too bad for actually like Sienna Rhee or something that you could choose the bump. I guess, whatever.
Well, also the issue is you're it's not a maneuver. You're telling it with sensitive controls to perform a barrel or boost action, and you can't partially do that.
No, he's saying, I'll read the whole thing. You boost barrel in the system phase to bump to get the action still. So you can say like boost forward and then 2 bank and just run into somebody, knowing that you'll still have the focus available to you.
All right.
I guess.
So
it's a good way of thinking about it, though.
So we hit a majority of those new pilots that we got. As we know, sometimes upgrade cards make bigger waves than the individual pilots when it comes to list archetypes, because a lot of times when something comes out, a lot of people will try a specific thing. We'll see what cool combos we have out there. But I do want to hit up, actually, before I hit this next one, Nash Windrider. There's been a lot of Nash talk. I know, Marcel, you are high on Nash Windrider. Do you think that Nash may be the pilot that makes the biggest impact in Extended when it comes to the new content?
No, I mean, if you're talking about Empire.
In Empire specifically.
Okay, got
That's what
it.
we're
We got so many wings that I got something to say about that.
No. Yeah, we're focused on Empire today.
I think so. I think Nash gives you a ton of flexibility. It'll be a combination between Nash and Discipline that'll make the biggest impact, I think, in the Empire. Those two cards, I guess it's a card. That chip and that card, or combinations of, is what's going to open up a ton of different low agility things for. I don't even want to think about the Nash and then some Sloan carrier and then a bunch of little TIE fighters. Just a lot of stuff that is sad beans.
I mean, is that the prime extended chef's kiss combo right there? Nash plus Sloan.
Nash Sloan.
Sloan doesn't that make you happy?
Yeah. No. Oh God, I wish that was like a 35-point card. I think they should make it anyway. Getting off the point. So yeah, I think Nash will be there. Now I've been looking at Nash. You can do Nash with, of course, the passive sensor X1s. I think that's a good combo, especially with Discipline as well, because they get to trigger it and then shoot. Trigger it being they still get, even if you die, you can still get your passive sensor lock and shoot a modded shot, and then everybody else gets locked, and then your passive sensor turns into a bunch of calculates for double modded shots. But also the bombers. I'm thinking about like the bombers with they're pretty hard to kill, so just throw a bunch of bombers, get Nash in there, get a bunch of I3 bombers with maybe some a disciplined a missile and a bomb, and just you can get, I think, like 4 of them, so you'll end up with like 5 ships, Nash and 4 bombers with bombs, and basically you're replacing, if you're looking at Steve's list from the Aces list, instead of doing Goran and 4 strikers and bombs, it'll be Nash, 4 bombers, bombs, and some kind of ordnance, some kind of missile. And again, with Discipline, they get their locks. So if you kill something, the other ones will get their locks. Barrage rockets are good because even when you die, the barrage rockets still give you that 3-die gun out of Chicago. It'll still give you that 3-die gun out of the front. So there's things to do.
All right.
Speaking of bomber, I want to hit the one fun combination you get in Extended. So, who remembers the TIE bomber Deathfire?
Deathfire!
Yes. So, let's talk about this before people get confused.
Is that the double shot one?
Yes.
Okay.
Deathfire is after you are destroyed. Before you are removed, you may perform an attack and drop or launch one device. Okay. That is different from Nash, because Nash says during the engagement phase, after a friendly small ship at range 0 to 3 is destroyed, if that ship has not engaged in that phase, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, that ship engages at the current initiative. So, Deathfire's ability, I believe in almost all cases, triggers first. Because that is like a bonus attack that is after you are destroyed. It is like, bam, do the thing, okay? And then whenever it would be your player turn, to execute attacks or start engaging in said initiative that is higher than Deathfire, then you would then engage. And then do a regular engagement in which you do your normal attack. So
That's a lot of way of saying you shoot twice.
yes, but people don't want to confuse how the two end up working. Just remember that. So a lot of people have kind of looked at Nash as like, hey, this is like my bonus attack. It's not a bonus attack. You're just changing when that ship engages to basically right when engagement goes, or right in that engagement number of initiative.
Oh, okay. I see you. Huh.
So yeah, Deathfire is always going to shoot, sometimes twice. Also, I've never run Deathfire. And does anyone know here when it says Deathfire is able to launch a device? Is that just you just launch it with a one straight?
No.
you have to have the thing.
It's clarifying that because if they just said drop, if a bomb came out, they could only launch. Like Discord missiles, you can't drop a Discord missile. I know it's not a bomb, but it is a device.
Right.
Kind of. Whatever. Anyways, you see the example that if they came out with a bomb that only, or device, that only could launch, then his ability would need to say both, because he wouldn't be allowed to drop it, because you can only launch it.
So it is just future proofing.
It's literally just future proofing. But I will say though, at a certain point when they changed page Ticos, when you shoot, you can drop a bomb. When they changed that to an additional bomb drop, I believe they also changed Deathfire to be an additional bomb drop. So it doesn't say if you have not dropped a bomb this round already. So that's pretty cool. He gets to get his device off of him no matter what.
All right. Now we can jump into the upgrades. There's 3 upgrades we're going to talk about, and there's 3 of you beautiful gentlemen, and I will let each of you choose which, or I guess 2 of you get to choose, and 1 of you gets stuck with the 3rd one. And the 3 upgrades that I want to talk about here, one that we already hit, I want to see how it fits into the Empire and Extended, and that is Protectorate Gleb. If there's anything there, any cool combos that might exist. Of course, I think they have something similar going on to First Order, where their most of the crew carriers already have coordinate. Interloper Turn, is that something that we're going to end up seeing? And I think the one that is likely the best that maybe we should end with is Disciplined. And how is that going to affect the extended meta, if at all? If at all. Marcel, Protectorate Gleb, is there anything out there that we can end up seeing with Protectorate Gleb?
I haven't really looked at it. If I'm just looking off the top of my head, I'm probably thinking something with the TIE Reaper. They already have the coordinate, but isn't there one that can move, coordinate, and then move again?
It's Vizier. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that as well. Where
like you move, you coordinate, but then you don't have to set a little maneuver after another friendly ship at range 0 to 3 is this. No, that's
no,
it's Vizier.
You're on the right track there.
Yeah, it says after you fully execute a speed 1 maneuver using your ailerons, you may perform that coordinate. If you do, skip your perform action step. So basically, the only thing it does is it allows you to do so and then still be able to do like a K turn or something like that, because you're throwing your stress away. So you move, you coordinate, no stress, and then you can still K turn, or not K turn, whatever they have. What do they have? They have sloop. You can still sloop or stop or do a white maneuver, blue maneuver. It's up to you.
That is interesting. I never thought about slooping with him after
Or stopping,
that.
yeah. Just move on, coordinate, stop.
As a note, though, that coordinate action he performs is white. Because it doesn't...
It is white?
Yeah, it does not. Anytime they have a generic action, just like Discipline, if you had a red target lock, you wouldn't be required to take the red target lock action
did
off
not
of
know that.
Discipline. But you are on the right track though with Brazier, because it still works that so you ailerons and you don't want to coordinate, so then you move, but you do want to coordinate. Now that you're closer to your friends, you can do the coordinate because that's why you're Brazier, and you could give the stress off. And then next round you can still do then the ailerons, coordinate, and then the sloop. So it keeps him fast and keeps him out of that loop of just blue maneuver, red coordinate, blue maneuver, red coordinate, and you never get back to doing ailerons.
Okay.
That's super niche though, like very niche. It does help him though, I think significantly.
I think that's what we're looking for here, though, is like where because I think there could be just some unexplored areas where we have these new cards where they fit in some weird spot that might work. The only other crew carrier that I'm thinking of, maybe crazy, the Decimator. Decimator natively has a red coordinate. Is there any? I mean, one of the bad things about Decimators is their maneuverability. Which is the reason why most of the time you don't ever coordinate with a Decimator. Is there anything there? Maybe bringing something like a patrol leader, a hefty coordinator who can get rid of its stress and pass it off to a more maneuverable ship?
Maybe.
Like I know that it's very. That I think out of all the ones we brought up, it's the most kind of in left field. But that's the kind of combo where I feel like if you find the right balance of ships,
since Mornaki gets to keep her reinforce. If all you're doing is reinforcing again, I mean you're kind of keeping yourself alive and coordinate a few times without.
I mean, I don't.
But.
I got. I'm trying to focus in on the orange and red tokens. I know we're thinking stress, but someone mentioned locks. So I guess Kagi, who would take everybody's lock, and then he moves into range and says, "No, I don't want that lock anymore. Please don't." And then gives away the lock that he sucked onto him last round away. I guess. I don't know what, is there any synergy with like orange tokens that we're missing?
None of the crew carriers really have anything. The only thing you could do with Reapers in general is they like going through gas clouds. And if you get the strain, you could pass the strain to someone else that you coordinate who might be doing a blue already.
Yeah, because like I'm trying to think of
on the other side, then do the coordinate, and then just you could pass. How many does it say? I think it's just one, right?
One orange or red.
Yeah, so you could pass strain or stress, but I think one part of it is so an advantage of lower initiative coordinating in most cases is you're putting your ship in a position, obviously, to take more tokens, ideally. Mm-hmm. But you're not trying to make your ship more predictable at the same time. And that's kind of what taking the stress from that does, unfortunately.
I got to take a second here, and our podcast viewers got to know we did just hit our goal of 230. I've been holding on to this goal since the Ace Flight Club Championship, and at the end of our podcast today, we're going to be giving away this painted Shadowcaster that you see on screen here. Absolutely beautiful, modeled after Sabine, and we're giving it away today live on the podcast after the show. So congratulations, podcast viewers. We don't usually do giveaways on podcast days, but the odds today, pretty solid, just saying. Yeah. Okay. So let's bring up an interloper turn. That's defender only. I know we didn't talk too much about it. I want to hit disciplined. I think disciplined is going to be a card that everybody wants to shove into most Imperial lists. what are some pilots? So let's go back. Let's go back to our list of ships that we talked about. We talked about the who's been released into the world. We got named defenders, generic interceptors, who can take some elite pilot talents. Named V1s, named X1s. Not the generic Reapers. Maybe aggressors. Punishers don't have talents. Maybe generic ties. Maybe generic. Maybe I don't think so. I doubt it. Phantoms? Question mark? Maybe. What are we thinking here? Who else is going to be taking advantage of discipline? Ryan?
So let me ask you a question. When Sloan, Feroff, Reaper fit, how many aggressors were also on the list? Was it 5 or 6?
It was 5. It was a sixth ship build.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this question. What seems... Does this seem like a potential new version of that? Onyx Squadron Scout, the TIE aggressor that can take a talent. 5 disciplined, dorsal, and a Nash with discipline.
Ooh.
Because, so, Sloan has a tax of requiring a crew carrier. Granted, you're not double stressing opponents, but you are barrel rolling or locking in the engagement phase. Is that a potential route to go?
The aggressors also have a linked action off of that barrel roll into
They do.
evade as
Barrel
well.
roll linked to red evade.
Okay.
Where's Charlie Clote when you need him? Why are you asleep in South African time zone? So we could ask you about this question. That was our Galaxy's 2020 champion.
Barrel roll linked to red evade. So most people have been looking at like what links with locks, and there's not a lot, but like barrel roll linked to red evade means as soon as one of these dies, good luck doing damage to the rest of them.
Becomes more difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, they all
And they
barrel
do more
roll
damage
into
to you, yeah.
range of those dorsals.
And they got 4 points left. You know what? Like, hey, if I'm not dying, I'll just throw 2 tracer missiles in the list. Whatever. I'll get my locks one way or another.
Will, I like that, what you just said there. I want to make sure we don't miss that. The ability to get that barrel roll and bringing those dorsal turrets into range, because dorsal turret range 1 to 2 only in the turret arc. But yeah, a barrel roll can absolutely be the difference between one range band and another, or getting into range 1 with that dorsal turret could be massive.
Imagine being surrounded by a bunch of aggressors and you're like, some are at range 3, some are range 2, and then you kill one and they all just go, and you're like, oh.
Okay.
Form a circle around you and they all just closed in. They're like, you're going to kill our friend? No. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's like
NFL's the same.
we saw. I've wanted to make the comparison in the extended side of things of like, discipline is not as damaging to a singular enemy ship potentially as Sloan with the double stress in the long run of a game. But in the direct turn, discipline could end up causing more damage than Sloan on the return fire.
I see that.
I mean, maybe like you don't have to spend the points. Nash says, "Oh, they're all going to live. They're all going to get to shoot." And if one dies, we're either barrel rolling and getting more difficult to kill, or we're barrel rolling and taking advantage of better positioning, or we're taking locks. That's multiple rerolls. And there's, like I said, there's 4 points left. I'm just tossing 2 tracer missiles in there. Cool.
I mean, I like the sensitive controls mixed with disciplined on Nash, because you
go.
So
Yep.
it's so good. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You could throw a tracer in there, but Nash needs sensitive controls. He wants it. He wants discipline and sensitive.
Oh, needs might be pretty.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, if you have discipline, you might as well.
If you have discipline, you need him not to be stressed.
I will say there's two sides to it, because with discipline, you could lock or barrel and then trigger auto thrusters if you still had it. Just don't use auto thrusters and position yourself in a way to where you still have a viable shot or a viable threat with your arc, and then say, okay, if you kill something, I'm going to reposition and hurt you more.
So,
but I definitely see one way or the other. Like it depends on how you want to play.
What Ryan's saying is get it right the first time.
Yeah,
Sense
that's what I'm hearing.
does mean that too. So
yeah, and also just don't forget the fact that they mentioned that in the chat too, that the TIE bombers also have a link action. So with the TIE bombers, you can also barrel roll and then target lock. So you can get both the barrel roll and target lock.
Porque lo dos.
Discipline.
Yeah, porque no los dos, yeah. Discipline,
learning.
barrel roll, target lock. Now you die. Oh, man, yeah. Discipline, I'm telling you, I think this card, is going to be in the Empire, the most common card that we see. People are going to be playing a lot of, I'm expecting to see a lot of attempts with this card. Different combos out there. I'm excited to see what we see. This discipline is A+. Now, I know we haven't done our official tiers for this, but I mean, disciplined S tier? Question mark?
I mean, we did rate these at one point in time.
We did. We didn't have the points yet. It was the way too early rankings.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what we
still put
did.
it in A.
Did we?
At least
yeah,
A. If
I
not
think it was kind of
S.
like for now A, because we weren't sure about the point cost. At one point, it's A+ minimum with like creeping into S, and like still discoveries to be made.
Are you saying disciplined A+?
Minimum.
Oh, it's S. I think it's pretty clear that, in my opinion, that Nash and Discipline are the S in the batch, and then there's a couple A's in there as well.
So I'm curious from your perspective, Marcel, kind of going off track a little bit, but on a comparison note, who do you think is more important to their faction? Hera to Rebels or Nash to Empire?
Hera.
Okay.
Hera's
Just had to make sure.
Yeah, Hera anywhere.
Still.
Hera in
just-
any faction. Yeah, Hera in any faction, in any squad. I don't care. I'll find the points for Hera. No matter, I don't care what. Can I have Hera and Darth Vader together, please?
I'd sure love to have Nash and a droid swarm.
All right. Well, here I have our answer. I was able to pull up our way too early rankings. We actually can take a peek at how we did, and you could see that we had Nash Windrider in S tier, and we had Discipline in A tier. We were all in agreement there. But yeah, with the points, this definitely ends up going to the S tier for sure. For sure. Now, something that we should end up doing, not today, but reevaluating. Now that we have points, we've seen some things.
Somebody disagreed in Cutthroat from B to S. Who was that? I forgot the colors. I forgot which color was who.
Well, I think I put it in S tier.
The Cutthroat. It's not S, but it's an A. I think B was.
The bigger tragedy is who didn't put Hera A-Wing. Everybody go rewatch that video. Let us know.
Somebody
Who
didn't
was
put
messing
Hera
up?
A-Wing?
No. It looks like I didn't put down my token. I don't have it anywhere.
Yeah, there's no arrows. There would have been arrows.
Yeah.
Marcel did arrow work.
Yeah.
I think that was me. I think I put Cutthroat. I'm a big fan of Cutthroat. I like it. Mainly because it could reload hawk bombs, which wasn't a thing before. And it's pretty awesome.
Alrighty. Well, I don't want to get too stuck on that. That's introing into a whole nother podcast. into rearranging that. But yeah, it is interesting to see some of the possibilities that we might be seeing in extended. I think the biggest impact is right here, Disciplined. Watch out for this card. Watch out for that card. We're gonna definitely see it out there. I'm looking forward to it. Next week, we're going to be jumping into the Rebellion and Scum and Villainy and taking a peek at what are some of the extended things that we think we might end up seeing there. And then when it comes to the new packs, after that, we need to reevaluate some things that we haven't seen in a while. Archetypes that we just, because of hyperspace, they just haven't been played. What are some of those meta monsters that are creeping in the cave, but we just forgot about it, but they just been hibernating? They're not dead yet. They're not dead yet. So watch out for that. And don't worry, we're not going to sign off. For our people watching live, we're going to do our giveaway. I didn't forget, but we got to close the show, okay? Or maybe should we have the giveaway be part of the podcast? Let our audio listeners know that who won the prize. I don't know. What do you think?
Because
okay,
exactly. Let them know the fun that we have here on the Monday nights.
That's right. Join us. You know, and we're gonna take it a step further. We're gonna give away, you know what, in celebration of us reaching that goal, we're gonna give away a couple of GSP prize packs, 2 GSP prize packs. We're gonna give away a T-shirt and the ship. We're going to do 4 things right now. We're going to go crazy. You can't hold me back. I'm a crazy person. All right. Now, how do you enter the giveaway? All you got to do is type in the chat. Now, while the people who are typing in the chat right now get that ready and Nightbot collects all of those entries, one more question to the 3 of you. We're heading into Extended. We talked about this new pack right here. We talked about Disciplined. Now, are we 100% sure? Now, this is a little bit of a rhetorical question. I know you're going to be your answer, but I want to get it out there. Disciplined, is it the best new faction card from Cutthroat and Hopeful? Yes or no? Confirmed?
A resounding yes from a lot of head nods for the
I think
audience.
everybody has, like, I think it's a very clear, you got the Discipline, then Cutthroat, and then Hopeful. And the problem with Hopeful is not that it's a bad card, is that it's, there's no ship that really takes there's no combination of ships that really take
spammable ships that can take
like there's like unique one-offs like AP5. AP5 can't focus, so AP5, but you can't spam it, or you can't
the thing you can spam it on always does focus boost anyways, so literally not helpful on it.
Okay. Yeah, and I definitely agree there. And you know what happened in the design room, right? Like they had either the design for Discipline or Hopeful first, and they're like, "Oh, let's give the other faction the opposite. Let's give them focus and boost." Right? That's cool. But it just so happens that the Empire got the better one. It's no debate. All right? No debate. All right. Let's go ahead and are we going to continue the new expansion exploration this Wednesday on Flight Club? Yes, 100%, Lambolo. We will continue digging into the content. I want to take a look at some Gideon swarms. I want to take a look at some Hopeful. I want to take a look at some more. We need some more people trying Cutthroat. It didn't work out last week. We need to try it again. There's some more stuff I want to see out there. If you're on our Discord, we're going to be calling on you for some ideas. This Saturday, though, I need to check with Mrs. GSP, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to have a cast this Saturday. It is Mrs. GSP's birthday weekend, and for her birthday, what she has asked me to do is to paint and her office. We're redoing her office in there, getting some furniture built in there. Basically, a room makeover is her birthday present. So, as you guys know, lot of sacrifice out there for GSP from Mrs. GSP. So I'm gonna take this Saturday and take care of her, and we'll do that. Even she says it. Okay to stream. Don't do it. Exactly. All right, let's find out who's going to win. First, a GSP prize pack. GSP prize pack number 1 goes to Dials and Dice. Shout out to Stephen Parker. GSP prize pack number 2 goes to Typo X-Wing. Free GSP t-shirt, just pay for shipping when you receive the code, goes to PT Joy. And the winner of the Lancer class pursuit craft, the Sabine styled docking bay number. Let me just double check the docking bay number here. Did I write it on the box? Got to make sure I write these things on the box. This is going to be 104. Docking bay 104 goes to the Outer Rim Scout. Make sure to type !win in the chat. Congratulations to our winners. Okay? Congratulations, Docking Bay 104. By the way, shout out to everybody helping them out, giving us the 104 in the chat. Congrats. All right, before we head out today, you guys got any shout? How was your guys' Easter? You guys have a good weekend? You guys do anything? Have a special bite, Will?
No, I just hung out with my mom, but it was good to see her. I do got an X-Wing shout out though.
Go for it.
To jump in, we're starting up. As if I have any part other than a player in it. The Kyber Premier League is starting back up. An elite recruitment of X-Wing players, which I did the best in last time. Still lost to Catch in the crossover event with the regular Hexiled season. Or excuse me, not Hexiled. Kyber Cup. But I am taking on Ali on Wednesday, Dion. So you're going to have to postpone my game for just a little bit.
Okay.
So that's going to be on Hexiled gaming in the afternoon. Probably Hexiled's last game, if you're familiar with them.
Cool.
Ali beat me last season, so I want that win against him. You know, you got a big target on your back when you're world champ, forever champ.
Awesome. All righty. Ryan, how was your Easter?
It was good. I actually made it into a 4-day weekend. Got to stay home, chill out, play the new Outriders video game that came out, even though it had some server launch issues, but is what it is. Did some inside work, did some outside work, put some stuff in the attic because we haven't really used the attic for storage in our house since we've been in here for almost a year and a half. So finally actually using that to make some space and actually do the first outside work of the year by pre-trimming some hedges so that they were all the twigs on them were and the branches were already kind of overgrown anyway. So we just want to trim those down before the leaves come out. And wife slow cooked some ribs on Sunday too.
Ooh, nice.
She's been making a lot of use of the crock pot recently, and I have benefited.
Marcel?
Saturday, I got not one, but 2 big hugs from Dion. So in-person hugs. Mr. What is it called? What are we calling it? The vaccine squad?
Pfizer gang.
Pfizer gang. There you go. Pfizer gang. And then on Sunday, very exciting stuff that we did. We actually we may not have this anymore. We're actually house shopping. So we went looking for houses. We're either going to do a townhome, maybe another high rise. We don't know. We'll figure something out. But we went to go look at places. So gonna enjoy this while it's still here. But then I don't know. Hopefully it'll be something different. Always. So excited for that.
Yeah, this Sunday, of course, we did an Easter egg hunt for Arwen, the Easter Bunny. Brought her some cool stuff, some coloring books. It was fun. It was great. Hey, maybe one day, GSP Easter egg hunt with ships inside the eggs. I don't know. We could do something crazy. Who knows? All right. Let me know. Let me know if you guys like that idea. I totally would schedule that as an event. Now, probably what we would do is we would gather the people and record it like a week before actual Easter, and then release the video on Easter. Just so you guys know, production, right? Like we gotta plan it out. All right, GSP Easter egg hunt, maybe 2022. All right. Be ready.
How many left? Do you actually have any leftover of the planet pins from Galaxies 1?
I do.
You could fill those eggs with planet pins.
Oh, you were right. That's a great idea.
And then use the galaxies from this year. If you got any leftover pins or medals, turns out hunt for the planets.
Hunt for the planets. I love it. Hold on. I got to write this down. Where's my notebook? Hold on.
I had no idea how much of those you had left, and if it'd be enough.
Easter 2022. Put pins in eggs. Question mark. Where? That's my only question. Where would we do this? It's going to have to be in Chicago, guys. It's going to have to be in Chicago. So if you want to participate, you're going to have to make it out to Chicago. We got a year to plan it, though. It's cool. All right, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a good time today. And, these little like end segments, you guys just get to know us a little bit better. So do it on TTS? No, that's Easter egg hunt. I guess technically we could. But no, you just like highlight the whole screen and like, I got them all. All right, like that's nah. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. And you know what? We'll do one for the kids. We'll do one for the kids too. If you got the kiddos, they have their own, okay? But they'll have like actual like candy and fun kid stuff.
Yeah, we don't want to let them like open up the pin and start poking people.
Oops. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Stay smart. Stay safe. I don't have anything extra to say today. Gold Squadron out.